Hi, Maya.
Hi, Belinda.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure.
This is going to be a really fun interview. I want to start with your bio. Maya, I'm here with Maya Rogers. Maya is a songwriter, vocalist, teacher, and music therapist who believes deeply in the power that music has to activate healing on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. Maya's music is soulful, universal, and timeless. Her mission is to create inspiring musical experiences that uplift and transform others. Her most recent project is a musical storybook and album titled Orion and the Remembering Tree. I had Maya on here because when she sent over the synopsis for her book, I literally got chills because it just really sounds amazing. A really good storybook for kids and probably for adults too, to, reach our inner child. Maya is currently running a fundraiser for her musical picture book and album over on Indiegogo. So we'll be sharing that in the notes. Um, so let's talk about it. Maya, can you give a brief synopsis of what the book is about?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to keep it short. Um, so the book is about a little boy named Orion, and he is a magical boy, and he's a little different. And I'm not going to spoil the reason why he's a little different, but he's a little different. Um, and has trouble kind of fitting in when he goes to school. And so he has a really bad day and actually runs away from school. And he runs so far away that he finds himself at the precipice of a forest. And it's like a magical, enchanted forest. And it just invites him to come inside. So he steps inside and he hears a voice calling his name. And then he discovers it's a very old tree who's calling his name. And he befriends this tree, and the tree kind of helps him remember who he is, why he's here, and what his mission on Earth is.
So, I mean, as you're retelling that story that I just read, I'm still getting chills. And the reason why is because it fully exemplifies why Perfect Child exists.
Hmm.
When you're talking about this child that is having a really difficult time in school, I'm going to say probably 75%, if not 95% of children are having a hard time in school.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact that he goes into the forest, children, they say, are very connected to the universe, the spirits around them, and the energy in plants and animals. And so it's absolutely true that this could potentially happen.
Yeah.
That a little boy or anybody can connect to a tree and connect to their own wisdom
Mhm.
because we're born with it. We're born with wisdom. We're all geniuses, as Richard Rudd would say, who does the Gene Keys, and we're just dumbed down.
Yeah.
So
Agree.
I want to play the little snippet of the song that you sang on your Instagram.
Okay.
Maya's Instagram is Maya Rogers, MayaRogers.MUSIC on Instagram.
You fly away on the wind. The world won't feel your wonder. Please don't shy away. Try again. Believe that you're needed. If you fly away on the wind, the world won't feel your wonder. Please don't shy away. Try again. Believe that you're needed.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you. You.
So the difference, I think, between, the book that you have written and your goal of this storybook and album is that I think a lot of the books out there that are like musical storybooks, it's encouraging. They'll have like a sentence that you sing with your child, maybe like what's a children's song like Old MacDonald, right? So
Hmm.
it's like, oh, MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and you see that written down in a storybook, and there's like the little animals, right? The difference with this, I believe, Orion and the Remembering Tree, is that it's actually a story. It's a magical story. And along with it, there are these songs that you have written and your husband composed. The two of you guys
We
wrote
did
the score
together.
music
Hmm.
together, right? And I've listened to some of your music and it is really uplifting and it really touches to the core of like our soul.
Hmm.
It really kind of is centered in love
Yeah, that's a
and
really
like
good.
loving ourselves.
Hmm.
And I remember when I replied to you after you sent the synopsis, I had said, oh my God, this is amazing because if people gifted this to
Hmm.
like their friends that are pregnant, or even if you're pregnant and instead of reaching for that book that says like what to expect when you're expecting,
Right.
reach for Orion and the Remembering Tree and
Hmm.
learn these songs so that when you're pregnant and you're growing this child inside you, sing these songs because
Right.
these are all going to be empowering songs that like helps your child to just always connect to themselves and feel warm and loving towards themselves. And then when they come out and you read the story to them or they read it themselves, there's that connection.
So beautiful, Melinda. Thank you for like seeing that in your mind's eye. That's so beautiful.
There's just
Mm.
because there's so many things that people could be doing before they get pregnant,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
and this is one of them.
I love that.
I can't wait till the book comes out. You have an Indiegogo that's going on right now,
Hmm.
but it ends December 2nd.
Yes, and you know what? I just looked up the time that it ends, and it's something silly like 3 in the morning. So we're gonna say December 1st because I don't know. I don't know why they stopped it at 3 in the morning, but we'll just say December 1st, just to.
Okay, cool. And then will you run it again? Or is it
Yeah,
like how else will you?
that's a good question. I'm not sure. It's possible that we will like later on in the process. I think at this point we're almost to the point where we've covered the illustration and the editing, and so we could potentially like put the physical book into the world first, and
Oh,
then
nice.
get the recording done, and then like release that later. So it's possible that we would do another one, but I'm not sure right now.
That's exciting. Now I saw also that you guys did what was this a a band and a reading with the
Hmm.
music? Where was this and what was it?
So yes, let's see. So I live in Connecticut, a really small town right by the University of Connecticut, and there's a library less than a mile away from us. We walk to it all the time, my son and I. Um, and I just approached them and said, would it be possible to read the story and like perform it live? I received like a small grant from the state. So we hired 10 musicians. There's like flute, clarinet, harp, piano, drums, bass, and a string quartet. And we performed the story live and on the library lawn early September last year. And it was just phenomenal. Like the experience itself was just I bawled actually. Like at the end of the story, I was like, I was crying. I could barely get through the last song. It was just such a wonderful experience, and we learned so much about just the performance and like what to like. I don't know how to explain. Just little things about how to write something for the ensemble, like what happens if it's outside and it rains, or it didn't rain on us, but it was very cold, and so the instruments were having trouble warming up, just little lessons like that. So it was so it was beautiful. It was so beautiful, and that really inspired me to want to actually like publish the book and get the music recorded so many more children could experience it. I think there were about 75 kids that we performed for, but think of how many more we can reach if there's a physical book that can just be gifted or borrowed at the library or whatever. And then the music will be online and available for people to listen to.
Or it would be so great to have the book available for purchase. So
Hmm.
when you perform this, then you have like
Yeah.
books available and people can just purchase it right
Yes.
then and there. So that's like a good, selling avenue.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible. Tell us about how this story came to be.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So I have a 3-year-old son whose name is Cedar Orion. So I used his middle name as the first name of the character. Um, and I just imagine a day where, I mean, right now we just talk about like garages and trains and, just little things that he loves to talk about. But I imagine a day where he'll start to ask these questions like, where do we come from? And like, why are we here? And what is it all about? Right. And not that I have all the answers, but I wanted to create something that would kind of spark little people's imaginations. So I have this cosmology story at the beginning of the book that it kind of explains where we come from and where Orion comes from. And the other big inspiration for this book, so I am a music therapist, and I'm very aware of the current mental health crisis that is happening in our country. I read a statistic like a year ago that children between the ages of 5 and 12, like the instances of emergency room visits had increased like by 30 something percent. I can't remember the exact statistic, but I just can't really imagine a 5-year old um, going to the emergency room because of a mental health crisis like that. Reading that just broke my heart. I was just like, I don't know what else to do but to like make something to like make kids feel happy and inspired and okay like with themselves and more than okay, like happy to be themselves. So the book really touches on yeah, just like being good with being who you are and letting the world see who you are and being proud of who you are. And it kind of touches on a little bit of like anxiety, like what to do. Like the tree gives him some tips of what to do, like when he's nervous. So yeah, those are the two big inspirations for the project. My son and just like all the kids in the world that are having a hard time. I just want to like hug them all.
I think a lot of us are in that space right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you do as a music therapist. What is
Yeah,
that?
so it varies. Right now, I'm not really practicing that much. A couple years ago, I was working at a Montessori school as like the staff music therapist, and then um, when the pandemic happened, I was doing it online, and so that was really interesting. But a lot of it, like for some reason, I guess I've just gravitated towards children, like working with children, and a lot of it is just like singing and like playing games with music and just doing these things that are very innate and natural to human beings, with the secret goal of like whatever we're trying to work on. So they're not really thinking about, oh, I need to learn how to not be nervous in front of people. They're just, I'm having fun playing this instrument. And then we use the music to kind of bridge that gap to whatever we're working on. It could be reading, it could be, I mean, who knows? Like, just I actually had a girl who she had Down syndrome, and she was just having trouble like articulating her words. And so I found this song that it was basically it is time for music, but it had a lot of like plosives and like consonants. So if you sing, it is time for music. So it's just a lot of kind of finessing the things that need to be finessed with the power of music.
And was that effective?
Oh yeah, it is. I think for her, you saw gradually week after week, she would be able to like articulate those things. And so at first, it's like in the activity that you're doing, and then gradually that like expands in everyday life. So it is a
Yeah.
process, but it's something that I haven't met a child yet that's just like, no, I don't want to do music.
I know. I mean, everybody loves music, and
Yeah,
it then becomes an earworm, and then
yeah,
it encourages the body to create a new habit of
absolutely.
enunciating your words.
Yeah, yep.
Ugh, that's so good. Music and play. Music and play is where it's at.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's so nice chatting with you.
Likewise. Thanks so much.
Bye.